Onaga. Hey!
Welcome to The Sign, an online talk show for such a time as this. Important issues about life will be discussed to bring about education, enlightenment, provocative thinking, and ultimately a positive change of lifestyle as we dare to stir up our belief system on life, faith, marriage, family, and everything in between. I am your host, AbiolaTHESIGN. Welcome to today's show. So, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. On today's show, we'll be talking about saving the boys. Saving the boys because we don't want to leave the boy child behind. We must talk about it and we must save the boys today. We're just going to go right into it. And to discuss this, to have this lovely conversation with me, I have a special guest. You can see the special guest that we have tonight. Yeah, well, at whatever time that you're watching. I have Mr. Ebuka Obika Ede. He's a boy child advocate, a teen and a youth mentor, a men development coach, and a founder of Save the Boys Initiative, all the way from Nigeria. Like in Nigeria, he's joining us now from Abuja, Nigeria. So welcome to the show, Mr. Ebuka.
Thank you so much, Abiola, for having me. Thank you. Greetings from Nigeria.
Yes. Lovely to have you here. And thank you so much for joining in this lovely conversation. So we're just going to go right into it. I know you're very passionate about the boy child, because even when I look at the foundation, your initiative says saving the boys. Why? Why did you decide to go on this route? Yes. Why?
Okay. Yeah, several people have asked me why, where did you start from? Why the boys? Wow. I'll just try to summarize. Okay. Like you said, I'm very passionate about boys and boy child. I'm very, very passionate. I'm budding. Boys are people that can give me, that is one of the things that can keep me awake through the night, counseling, praying, mentoring, and just to see that boys are doing well. Yes, for over a decade, I've been working with teenagers. And I work in the teenage department with teenagers in my church, and I've been doing a walk around schools with teenagers and young adults. And I discovered growing up, I had my own issues, I had my own struggles, and I needed somebody to really connect with. But I discovered that it was difficult to find somebody who understood what I was going through as a young boy. And there was this culture of boys don't cry, boys don't always have things sorted, boys don't have issues. So I grew up with that mindset. Boys don't talk. So even when I was struggling, I couldn't talk, but yet I was yearning for somebody who can connect with me, but I didn't find that. Though later I later found someone who was able to connect, and I knew how that helped me. So as I was working with teenagers and I kept going, I discovered that I was really getting towards the boys. I could talk with them, they could understand what I was saying. I could see the yearning, I could see how they were ready to pour their hearts. They were looking for someone who understood them. There was always something about boys are always stubborn, boys are violent, boys don't hear what, they're always troublesome. But I was seeing a different perspective. I was seeing people who were yearning for attention, who needed somebody to understand them. So with time, I started working with boys. I was more into boys. I was working with teenagers. And over time, I discovered a lot of boys were coming to me with issues. They wanted to talk to me. They wanted to connect with me. They were other teachers, but they were more at liberty to really connect and share deep issues. And then we started talking with boys with very, very deep issues that was really mind-blowing. Boys that have been sexually abused, boys that are traumatized, boys that are going through deep issues of suicidal thought and all manner of issues, drugs, cultism. I really want to connect. I really want to find love. I really want to come out of this. Nobody understands me. You seem to understand. I was sharing personal issues with them, and they were really opening up. And over time, I just discovered that I was really there to helping boys, connecting with them and helping them find healing through the process. So it's the work that started for over 10 years, wow. But not really the official or in the limelight, but I was doing a lot of personal work with boys. And as time went on, I just discovered that God wanted me to reach out to them. It was clear to me that God was calling me to really help these people find healing, find help. And I was also looking at what was going on in society, look at the issues from the marriage, trauma, crisis, divorce, look at the issues of leadership, look at even with issues women are going through. And I was praying and God said, all of these crises is because the boys are not properly raised. When we don't raise them, we will have fathers, husbands, and leaders who are not responsible, and the society keep crying and suffering from the ripple effect of irresponsible boys that we are raised, that we are not raised properly to become the kind of men we want to see. So all of that burden, all of that crisis and trouble, I kept seeing the need that we need to start raising our boys so that we can build the society of our dream.
Yeah.
I want to go scriptural. Yes, I've also seen the scriptures, issues reading from Jesus to Moses, where Herod said, kill every male child. And God was saying, this is also the agenda of our time, where the enemy wants to eliminate that, because he knows that once there's a crack with these people, a lot is affected in the society. So it's a burden that has built up over the years, but I see it as a calling, as a ministry, as it as everything in life, because that's what gives me joy, talking and helping boys find healing in the process. So that's just a summary of how and why it became. And then God was saying, okay, how do you want to go about this? And the vision came to save the boys. And I'm passionately following it for about 2 years now officially. And it has been an awesome experience helping boys find healing.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I can tell it's a passion. You have a passion. And it's definitely a calling. It's definitely a calling. Yeah. It's a calling, because when you talk about stuff and your face will light up, and that there's some things, when people even start coming to you with stuff, body, and say, how come it's only me you're coming to? Yeah. These are signals, these are signs that okay, something is going on. But before we go ahead, I want to celebrate all the men out there, all the fathers out there, even like you two, like everybody, all the men that are actually doing the right thing, that are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. They are being intentional about raising their sons, being good, faithful, and good husbands. I want to celebrate everybody. So give yourself a clap. Or pat yourself on the back. Yeah. We want to celebrate, because it's not only just, bad, because, when you talk about boys, or men, gender, most of the time in some parts, it's more like negative. But, Father's Day sometimes, Father's Day cannot be compared with Mother's Day.
Some people have 5 Mother's Day in a year, but just have
the mothers, the gele, everything must be hey, we are the mothers, but the men too needs to be celebrated. The men needs to be celebrated. And from my own observation, I just feel like, as you said, there are not a lot of resources for men out there, and because sometimes we don't really understand, like for women now, I think we don't understand men, and men don't really understand women. And sometimes we ladies, we want to treat a man like another girl, but you don't think like we do. So that's why you are here now. You're going to tell us. Tell us, what it is like. So my question is that from all your experience, from working, you said over a decade of experience working with the boys, what are the top 3 challenges that you think that they face? That was just common to a lot of them, like top 3 challenges.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. I just wanted to portray on what you said. There's a lot of misplaced identity when it comes to understanding our gender and our roles. The women want the men to be like the women, and the men also want the women to be like the men. And I think it's an identity crisis that has really caused a lot of tension. And I've seen that. And I always tell people what God did, that He created them male and female. I tell so many men, you cannot make a man out of a woman. Neither can you make a woman out of a man. God created them male and female. We must understand their peculiarities and relate to them as such. And know that this is how God made this person. I must appreciate it. and connect with the person in that way. Because when we want to be the other gender to become like us, that's when we have a lot of tension. But that is just by the way.
Yeah.
What are the top 3 issues I've seen with men?
Yeah.
First thing I would say is that a lot of men are living in denial, and it's because of the cultural mindset. And in fact, I always say is one thing to know that you are going through an issue, is another thing to solve it. You cannot prepare for a battle you are not aware of. So many boys and men are living in denial of the issues that they are going through because of the cultural mindset that men don't cry, men are strong, men can sort it all, men know it all. See, a lot of men are going through deep issues, but they've not come to accept that this is an issue. Even when they're dying in it, it's taking them a lot to come out and speak and say, this is my struggle, this is my pain. So one thing I bring men to do, or is to know that we are going through an issue. Something is wrong somewhere. Some people say, this is the way I was raised. That is the way men are raised in our culture. That is the way men, but that's the way men are raised in our culture. Does that mean that is the right way men should be raised? So there's a lot of self-denial because of the cultural mindset. Oh, men are not emotional. We are not emotional. We are not meant to cry. We are not meant to talk about our issue. So we know it. Also, there's this culture of I know it, I know it, I know it. And yet we are dying in pain. We are dying in depression. We are dying in deep issues that we are not talking about. Men are living in denial. So many boys are living in denial of the issues they're going through. And until we accept that, until we know there's a battle, we cannot be prepared to fight. And until we are prepared, we cannot win a battle we are not prepared for. So, men, we need to know that we are going through a crisis. Some men still don't understand that we are going through a crisis. The institution, the family institution is fast degenerating, breaking down. Marriages are breaking up, and it's affecting every part of the society because we are raising people who are not responsible to take up leadership.
Oh Lord.
We are in a crisis, but we are not aware. So that's the first thing I'll say. We are living in denial.
Oh my God.
Which also aligns to the second one. A lot of men are going through identity crisis. Men, and a lot has really happened to that. There's a transition that has happened from the old era to where we are now. Then men understood who they are, what they should be doing. But I think with a lot has changed. Understand what is happening, why the women are really, being empowered and doing all they can to really, because a lot of women have been marginalized because of the patriarchy nature and mindset. Yeah. But I think a lot happened, and with time, men begin to find it difficult to really know who they are and what they should be doing, because I think what I feel I should be doing as a man, the woman is already doing and the woman wants to do. So a lot of men are lost in identity crisis. Who am I really? What am I supposed to do? So it's as if my role, the women want to play it, the other person wants to play it. So, and I always tell people, it's not really majorly about roles, it's about who you are as a man, your identity and your purpose as a man. So there's a lot of tension between roles and who does what and who doesn't do what. But first, the mindset of who you are as a man and what God has called you to be. So when we understand that, we are not dragging for roles. So that has really put a lot of men and boys in jeopardy, in thinking that life is about competition. And so there's a lot of violence and tension and force. And, they're just living in a vague, not really living their true identity of who they are. And because of that, they refuse to really identify and discover, who am I as a man? What did God call me to do? Even before role, what did God call me to do as a man? So there's a lot of self-denial, there's a lot of identity crisis.
No,
and
on that identity crisis, what I discover is that most of the time, the male gender, they don't take God seriously.
Very true.
So how do you want to know yourself if you don't know who your maker? If you don't want to have an active relationship with him. So a lot of people, a lot of men, and that's where I feel like that's where the problem even lies.
Are disconnected from God. A lot of men, because we can only discover the identity from the creator, the one who created the identity. And so, because there's a lot of disconnects between men and God, you hardly, when you go to churches, there are women, when women are more passionate about what they are pushing, they are think they know it, and yet we don't know it. There's a lot of disconnection from God. Men think life is all about, just going out to platform and drink with friends and just, there's a lot of quick look for that money and just be there. There's a lot of disconnection from God, and you can't discover the identity when you sever yourself from the one who made you himself. You can only discover that in him. And so, for me, that is the roots of the major problem we are having. And that's why each time I get men, I want to connect them back to God. I say it's only in God you can discover who you are and be what God wants you to be. To have that. Yeah. That is a priority. But when it comes to major issues that boys are going through, yes, a lot of boys are living in. Research has shown that more women attempt suicide, but more men die of suicide. Because a lot of men are going through a lot of issues on the inside that they're not speaking out. Men are not talking. Men are not talking. I've seen boys, people ask me from issues they've handled, maybe from pornography, masturbation, cultism, drugs, sex abuse, what has been the major issue that I've seen boys going through. I've seen boys going through from the ripple effect of foundational issues that may result from maybe parental neglect or sexual abuse. This is an area that I've not really been, dived into, but a lot of boys are going through the ripple effect of sexual abuse, parental neglect. When there's a disconnection between the fathers and the son, what is built is a rebellion, and when that relationship is broken down, toxic behaviors are built. So a lot of boys are products of that upbringing or that mindset of distortion, because there's a disconnection. So they don't understand who a man is. There's nobody showing them the true picture of manhood, because even the father who should show them is having a distorted mindset. So he's only teaching what is distorted. So men, a lot of boys are disconnected. So they go to the streets, try to feel the vacuum through cultism, through drugs, through fraudulent activities, because we are humans. And that vacuum must be filled. So I think a lot of boys that are going through foundational issues because of parental neglect, because of abuse they've gone through, because of issues that have happened in the foundation, and it goes ahead to begin to affect them and different areas of their lives. Yeah. So there are a whole lot of issues. I don't even know how to lump them up into one, but identity crisis, living in denial, and a lot of foundational issues because of parental neglect, especially on the side of the fathers.
Oh Lord, that is quite that is quite heavy. It is heavy. It's really, really heavy. And I think I was reading a book one time. They said like girls, like you can tell girls to do something. They will listen to you. They can hear you. But men or boys learn by observing, by watching, by observing. But now, if there are no good role models to watch,
nobody to observe,
how are we going to replicate what the good to see?
Because even the ones that are there, what they are portraying for them to observe is a distorted mindset of manhood. So boys learn by observation, but we lack role models to teach boys. The ones we have are having a distorted mindset, and so that's what they are looking at. That's what they're also taking in and growing up to become. And when I just being I said, God, how do you want to do this miracle? Because if we're raising these people, how many role models do we have to teach these boys the true identity of manhood? So we're in a big crisis, but so many people have not even discovered what we are going through. If we're having it this bad, what will now happen in years to come when they keep having the same disordered mindset, they're passing it on to others? We are just seeing violence. This is just the beginning, because we need to break the vicious circle. And how can we break that? That's been my burden. How do we break this vicious circle? How do we raise role models who will teach by the true identity of manhood? Many crises.
Teach the boys the true identity of manhood. Okay. Now another thing I discover is that if the adults, sometimes we don't we don't know it all, if you don't know, or you don't have the best of time, probably growing up, the best, childhood, whatever. But I think that there should, as long as we wake up every day, there's room for improvement. We can get better if we seek knowledge, if we are open to learn, but what I discovered is that the mindset already is more like, I can't change, that's the way we are. That's what it is. Now let me go to another one. Let me go to another interesting one here. They talk about men are polygamous in nature. So men are polygamous in nature. So we just can't help it. Just can't help it. Like, especially in Africa. Men are polygamous in nature. So, just you have to enjoy everything. Side chick ministry, you have to, it is,
Ministry of Side Chick International.
So I want to ask, or from a man's perspective, is that true?
Thank you. This is a very, very good question. These are limiting beliefs and myths that men have lived with over the years. And there's so many other myths like that. Like, example, I tell people say, boys' rooms are dirty rooms. So a boy's room must be dirty. Myths like boys don't cry, or men are Lord and Master. So these are just part of those cultural mindsets that has put us in the mess that we're in. God, I ask people, men are polygamous in nature. Can God create somebody to be polygamous in nature? Is God that that he doesn't have? Did God create you to be polygamous in nature? So these are lies that men have believed, and they've grown up with that, and they are passing it on to other boys and other young men, that a man is polygamous. A man cannot do without one woman. I cannot keep myself ministry. That is how God has made us. Because some people even go to, because the kind of sexual organ that God gave us is different from that of a woman. Once the team is ready to eat, he must just eat. Lies, 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 and lies. And I tell them, I'm not polygamous in nature. In fact, my wife is the first lady that I dated. I've been married for almost 4 years. I say I'm not polygamous, and I have a lot of people who are not polygamous in nature, who are keeping to purity. And I see that your mindset is distorted, does not make it normal. That your mindset is polluted does not make it normal. That you cannot control yourself does not mean that is acceptable and normal. You have to agree that you are sick when you are sick, so that you can receive. You go to the hospital and they see that you don't accept that you are sick, or you say, I'm tired of waiting for the doctor, let me go. You can't be healed or cured that way. So many men are sick, but we don't want to accept that something is wrong upset. It's a lie, it's a myth, it's a limiting belief, and it has plunged so many men into immorality, into polygamy, into all manner of rape, sexual abuse, and pollution. It's a lie from the pit of hell. That no man was created that way. It's just a cultural mindset that we have lived. And the mind is so powerful. Whatever you believe, that is what you begin to see play out on the inside, from the inside of you, and you just leave it out. It's a lie. And I've been getting so many men to dismantle that limiting belief so that they can live responsible and a happy life.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what to say. Father. So it's like, it's a sick mentality. It's a sick mentality.
It's a sick mindset. Body was created that way.
Think about it like that. Is sick. You need to start saying it out. It is sick, and not just celebrate it or embrace it. And in the culture, parents will tell.
Celebrate the number of women you can date at the same time or sleep with is like an award. I say you are sick. He's sick. He's only a sick person that will celebrate mediocrity and immorality and devilish acts. It's sickening.
At the weekend, I was anchoring a healing group, and some of the ladies there said that one thing that they have lost is their faith in marriage.
Very true.
They said they have lost their faith in marriage, and I was like, why? And somebody said that that when they see somebody getting married, like it's more like the bride should be crying, that she doesn't even know what she wants to get. She doesn't know what she wants to get herself into. You know that, and you know the way marriage, the woman is what I'll be dancing, that's hey. But when you enter finish, I say, Father, you know, because of the kind of stuff you now see, you know, it's so sad and it's so disheartening. It's so disheartening, you know. So people are losing faith. People are losing faith.
People are losing faith in marriage. People are losing faith. And I can't deny the fact when you trace it down is because men are lacking understanding of what it means to be a husband and a father. You know, I tell men that want to struggle for submission and say, God even first told us to love as a man. And God gave us the instruction to love as Christ loved the church. And I asked, how did Christ love the church? They spat on him, he loved. They nailed him, he loved. They insulted him, he loved. They threw everything at him, he loved. They denied him, he's loved. And God is saying to us, love as Christ loved the church. I said, that is, you understand what that means as a man, as a husband, as a father, before you demand submission? Do you understand that ministry and that call as a man? So it's as if God is saying, you don't have any excuse even to hit your wife. You don't have any excuse even to do anything to a woman that he has given to you to nurture, no matter how aggressive or rough she is, because God wants you to love as Christ loved the church. Men are losing faith in marriage, in families, because we have a lot of men who lack understanding of what God has called us to be. And I'm burdened, I'm troubled. And if we continue like that, what's going to be the fate of the future? What's going to be the fate of the society? Because we are really suffering already from it. Because we have men who lack understanding, leadership is suffering, children are suffering, a lot of people are crying for men because we want leadership, we don't have it. People are losing faith in marriage.
Oh Lord.
And sometimes it's difficult for me to even talk to them because sometimes I'm more passionate with boys because some of them already, the mindset is blocked. Is there? It's like a concrete that is already dry and blocked. And you need divine intervention and divine surgery to break, remove it and fix it again. Sometimes the Lord, let me go for the boys to nurture them with the right mindset. Even with the right mindset, even before they get there, because it's more easier for me that way.
Well, I think there's a quote that said it's easier to fix a boy than to fix a broken man.
Yeah, to fix a boy than to mend a broken man. The most difficult thing I've seen is to mend a man that is broken and whose mindset is distorted. It's easier to build boys.
The ones coming up, the young ones coming up. Oh. But there is hope. I want to believe that there is hope.
There is hope. There is hope. I'm not giving up. We keep pushing. There is hope. There is hope.
There is hope. There is definitely hope. But this is just outlining and just showing or shedding more light on the challenges that we're facing, in our world. And we're not just, going to be like we are living in space. We are facing a reality, and we are, confronting it head on. That this is what we are facing right now. But I want to believe that, there's hope, and we want to know how to get there.